This show powered by AgriGold for Central Illinois, your AgriGold reps Brett Lars. He's your AgriGold reps for Central Illinois. This is your commodity markets update on the Markets Club podcast on today. This podcast is powered by Allendale Inc. with Kyle Bumsted. Well, we were talking about the corn yields for in the central U.S. Here's Kyle Bumstead from Allendale Incorporated. We were talking about the corn yields in central U.S. with Kyle Bumstead from Allendale Incorporated. This podcast is getting it on each other's Wednesday. Stay tuned on the Markets Club. This is your commodity markets update on the Markets Club podcast on today. This podcast is powered by Allendale Inc. with Kyle Bumstead. Well, we were talking about the corn yields in the central U.S. Here's Kyle Bumstead from Allendale Incorporated. How are you today? How's the yields in Nebraska and Iowa?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're actually harvesting today. We got switched over from beans here last weekend. Yields in soybeans, mid to upper 50s in most cases. We kind of ran out of water at the end. Even our irrigated beans were a little bit light. But as far as corn goes, so far it's been well in the 200s, a lot of 2.25. On the lighter ground, of course, dry land has been 0 to 10, 20. Even some of our irrigated, it's struggling just a little bit, just mainly because we had the heat and dryness there towards the end. But it's going to be an average crop for us. No huge bin buster out here. But there's a lot of corn out here in the country, so I think it's going to be an average crop for us here.
What are your takes on the Pro Farmer Crop Tour for this year?
Oh, I mean, yeah, they go out and do some counting and things like that, but I don't put much weight into it. A lot has changed as far as weather wise since they did that. Yeah, if they want to go out and count ears, that's great. But when it crosses a scale, that's the thing that really makes it for everybody. So every individual's different. I guess I'm ambivalent. I'm pretty neutral on the Pro Farmer Crop Tour as far as what they found. Like I said, a lot of weather's happened between then and now.
Let's start with our conversation about updating on the harvest season in central U.S. and your area. How is the corn yield for in their field?
So far, yields have been pretty decent as far as corn goes. We've had to kind of look for dry corn. I know a lot of places in the U.S. have found extremely dry corn. A lot of it's down into the below 15. Some of it's down to 12, 13, even 10. And some of it is, but most of ours is running about 15 to 16 right now through the combine. We did run into some that was a little over 20. We ran into some that was 25, 26. Of course, that's long season irrigated corn. For the most part, though, I'd say on an average farm here, as far as average irrigated, we're running about 215 to 220 bushel the acre.
How is the corn cash market? You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, that's a good question. So far, the cash market's been holding in there very well. The basis has been slightly improving here, which is kind of weird to see at harvest. But I think harvest is getting to the point where the trade's kind of saying, well, harvest is wrapped up, and the basis is starting to improve because these guys shut off the combines. They're like, I'm done with corn. I don't know any corn for a while yet, and so I think the basis could improve here for a little bit, and that's what we've been seeing. And the end users here have had to come to the futures market here. They chase the basis. They've been propping up the basis to get some corn bought because we've been making some overnight sales to some of these foreign countries like Mexico and China and whatnot. So cash market's been holding there pretty decent. It has been on an uptick here as far as basis is concerned. So that is a good feeling here. But Still not looking to store any corn commercially. It just costs too much commercially. I talked to some growers in Central Illinois yesterday, and they said it was going to cost like 26 or 28 cents to hold it to the end of February. And yeah, that's just way too much. Too much. Too much to spend on corn. Yeah, just much.
What is your takes on the cash market in Nebraska for right now, near Lincoln and Lexington?
Yeah, most of those areas there are getting wrapped up with harvest. Of course, Lincoln and Lincoln, you're going to be close to like a terminal there. That's going to be a rail terminal there. And then Lexington, I think they've got rail down there as well too. And we've seen some of the bids prop up for rail here. There's been some quick ship deals here. So I think a person really has to watch that. But if you're going to be holding some corn here, I think looking at your basis out there, if you're going to be holding it, maybe setting the basis and protecting the downside of these futures here for a little while, kind of the way it feels. Not that I'm bearish, but anything could happen here with the election we have here in a couple of weeks. So overall, things are looking pretty decent as far as cash market in central and south central Nebraska as of right now.
Does you have a take on the cattle on feed report on Friday?
Yeah, the cattle on feed report is scheduled to come out here at 2 o'clock on Friday. And I have those estimates here for that cattle on feed report. The on feed estimate is 99.8. Placement number at 95.6 and marketing numbers at 101.6. Now, there's nothing different this year as far as marketings versus last year, so we don't have an extra day or short a day or anything like that. But my take on the cattle and feed report is I think it's probably going to be slightly friendly here, the way things are acting and the way the spreads have acted here going into it. We did see some gains on the spreads here last month, and so that tells me that we probably placed a few less cattle. I think that we're probably moving forward here until we see this weather pattern break here in the southern plains. We start to get some rain on these wheat pastures, place cattle, because we just simply don't have the wheat. We're simply not going to have the wheat pasture. So some of these cattle that we're going to go on wheat pasture might get placed early. So we might see a month of heavy placements coming up here in the near future.
There's some ranchers are concerned about the corn market.
Yeah, there's some concern about the corn market, yes, with what we've been seeing, and especially when they look out, they're probably looking out here at South America. Got to look at that May-July corn spread, 3 3/4 cents. So there's not a lot of carry, which tells me longer term this corn market on the backside of this marketing year could have an uptick in demand, whether it be a shorter South American crop or they just simply need the grain or need the grain that far. We still got a lot here short term here. Same thing for beans. The soybeans. We've got that July bean spread at 11.5 cents. That gained a little bit here today, so it tells me that there is some commercial buying. And I think some of this commercial buying that we're seeing here is simply just to the fact that there's some unknowns coming up with this election here in a couple of weeks, and there's trying to get their hands on some stuff.
Do you have any final thoughts or recap of our conversation about this harvest season in Nebraska?
Well, there's still quite a bit of corn out here to be picked. My folks came over from Northwest Iowa over the weekend here, and they said there's a lot of corn to pick. Once you get west of Sioux City, there's a lot of corn to pick. A lot of the beans are out, but I did some traveling yesterday afternoon and had to go get some parts and whatnot. And you get off the main roads, there's still quite a few soybean fields out here in central Nebraska to be harvested yet too. So this general area does take a little bit longer to get the crop in the spring and take the crop out in the fall, mainly because our weather pattern is just a little bit different here. It's a little bit more dry, and we do tend to have late frost here in the spring, so we do wait a little bit. But yeah, overall, I think it's going to be wrapping up here in the next few weeks. Hopefully by Thanksgiving, everybody's wrapped up out here. But I did talk to some folks that say it's probably going to be closer to the middle of December before they get wrapped up, because the end users here are probably going to get full, and they're probably going to be shutting trucks off here for a little while until they get some stuff moved out. So it's going to take a little while out here.
Where people can find you for your consulting services in the Midwest.
You can call my office here at 308-708-7340, and I can get you. You can get in touch with me here, and you can talk to our team out here and see what we can do for you.
Thanks.
Bet. Thank you.
This is Kyle Bumsted from Allendale Incorporated. Thanks to Kyle Bumsted from Allendale Inc. on the Markets Club podcast. Thanks for listening. This has been the Markets Club podcast.